Alright guys, welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. This is Ali Plays, and today we're going to be doing the rankings for the SkinWalkers faction. So there's 20 SkinWalkers. I'm going to be ranking them from 1 through 20, starting at the bottom. So just a disclaimer before we get started, this ranking is just my opinion and is therefore is not fact. So you guys will probably have a different ranking than I do. Just let me know down in the comment section if you guys agree or disagree with anything. And now that we got that out of the way, let's get started. So we're just going to talk about the top 10, but I'll show you guys who I have below that. We have Satire at number 20, Windtalker at number 19, Greybeard at number 18, 17 we have Gnarlhorn. Couldn't get his picture on here. 16 is Bloodhorn, 15 is Channeler, 14 is Ripper, 13 is Blood Painter, 12 is Taurus, and 11 is Basher. So at number 10 we have Fleshterror, not Blood Terror. So Fleshterror is number 10. His first ability, he attacks when enemy has a 40% chance of transferring a random debuff from himself to the target. His A2 ability heals all allies by 30% of their max HP. This is why I put him on this number 10, because this ability right here increases the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. Yeah, so this ability allowed him to get into the top 10 for me. Laid Low is an AoE that decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn and increases the duration of all enemy debuffs by 1 turn. So that is really good. And increase ally attack and faction crits by 27%. So yeah, he's number 10 on my list for the SkinWalkers faction. So I don't know if you guys consider Grappler underrated, but he's a defense type and he's Spirit Affinity. His abilities are very good. He has a weaker version of Weaken, but that is not really a big issue considering Bulwark also has that. Soul Sizzle, he attacks one enemy 2 times and he places the 2.5% poison debuff for 2 turns. And Envelop, he places shield buff on all allies equal 20% of their HP and a 15% reflect damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. And his aura skill increases spirit ally HP and all bells by 19%. So arguably you can put Fleshterror ahead of Grappler. So in number 8 we have Ward Chi. So unfortunately he is a legendary champion in the SkinWalker faction. He is rated number 8 on my list. He should be higher than this considering he's a legendary, so he definitely needs a rework. He has a triple hit on his basic attack. That's pretty good, but it only has 25% chance of placing a provoked debuff for 1 turn. And yeah, he does do damage based on defense, so that is pretty good. Marauder, his ability attacks when enemy places a provoked debuff for 3 turns, and he has 75% chance of stealing 2 random buffs from the target. Damage inflicted proportional to defense. Standstill reflects 60% of the damage taken back to the attacker, and defense increases by 10% for each dead ally. So this guy definitely does need a rework. So hopefully Plarium does something about that. I mean, he's not like a very bad champion, but for a legendary, he's not that good. So that's the reason why he's rated pretty low. And number 7, we have Hackhorns Smash Lord. So he is also a legendary, and yeah, he is rated pretty low because for some reason the Skinwalker legendary is not that good. His basic attack has a 40% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Rallying a Bellow, he removes all debuffs from all allies, then he heals all allies by 15% of his HP. Heals each ally by an extra 10% of this champion's max HP for each debuff removed from them, and he places a block debuff buff on allies for 2 turns. So this move is what made him 7th place as opposed to lower, because he's able to remove all the debuffs, place block debuffs, and heal them. So it's a very good ability. Blood Offering, he sacrifices HP equal to 50% of his max HP. That's way too much. And then he attacks all enemies. Damage inflicted is equal to 50% of this champion's max HP, and this attack is always a normal hit, so this attack can't be weak. So it is pretty good, I guess. It's a double-edged sword because he can actually die from this ability. So he does need a little bit of a rework, but overall, for a legendary he's not that good, but for a champion in general he is okay. So Norg is a defense type champion, magic affinity. He has decreased accuracy on his basic. I don't really like that. If they change it to decreased attack, that would be much better. He has an AoE that places a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. If he plays something else, that would be better as well. And he's immune to stun, free sleep debuffs, and decreases damage taken by all allies by 15%. So his passive ability is pretty good. And he increases ally defense and dungeon by 40%, so that is pretty big. So this guy can be much better if Plarium just reworks him. So number 5, I have Yaga the Insatiable. His basic attack has poison on it. You can easily get this guy from the daily login rewards. His basic attack attacks one enemy has a 40% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. The only issue with this guy is you actually need to book him, but that should not be a reason why I should put him lower on my list. Hungering Plague, he attacks one enemy 2 times, and each has a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. And Rot from Within, he attacks one enemy, damage increases by 25% against targets under poison debuffs, and increase ally accuracy and all battles by 40. Yeah, so Yaga is number 5 because of how good he is in the clan boss. and he's very easy to obtain, like no effort, just log in. So Rainbee is very good in arena, and he's also good in some dungeons and stuff like that, but he doesn't help you with clear time, but he's very durable. So that's why he's very good in some dungeons. Attacks one enemy, places a continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 1 turn, and it's a 15% continuous heal, so it's pretty powerful. Open Slay. Attacks one enemy 2 times and revives a random ally with a full HP if this attack kills the enemy. So this ability is not very good on auto battles, but if manual, hopefully you guys can find a way to get this to find a way for him to pull this off, because I never seen him actually revive one of his allies with this ability. It glows is his passive ability is what makes him really good. When an ally is attacked, he places a shield buff equal to 35% of his max HP on that ally for 2 turns and occurs once per turn. So overall, he is a good champion. Number 3, so this guy can arguably be number 2 on this list. So Steel Skull, for some reason I don't even have this guy still. He's a support champion. He's one of the best supports in the game. His basic attack attacks twice, and he has a 10% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. So you're going to need to book this guy for sure. You can get that 35% chance of placing poison on his basic attack. And he has a cleanse ability. It removes all debuffs from a target ally and heals them by 40%. That can be a 3-turn cooldown when maxed out. And his protection ability is very good too. Places increased defense on all allies for 2 turns, and he heals them by 20% of their max HP. And that's on a 4-turn cooldown. So yeah, he is a very good champion. He can arguably be higher on this list. And that brings us to number 2. Longbeard was the best legendary in the SkinWalkers faction for a long time. There's a new champion that has taken his place. So Longbeard's basic attack will ignore shield and block damage buffs. A2 ability attacks with an enemy, places a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. So you can use this guy in Clan Boss. He has a 2-turn cooldown on that side, it's pretty good. Horde's Fury attacks one enemy with 4 allies. This is what makes him really good. And he increases the damage inflicted by allies by 20%. And that is on a 4-turn cooldown when maxed out. So yeah, he is a very good champion. If you have him, congratulations. But he's not number 1 anymore. Number 1, we have the Halloween champion, Brakus the Shifter. So congratulations to Brakus the Shifter. So his basic attack, he attacks one enemy and he heals himself by 15% of the damage inflicted. So you do not need to build this guy with any lifesteal. He already has it built into his kit. Full Moon Rampage is A2, attacks one enemy 6 times. That's a lot of hits. And he heals himself by 25% of the damage inflicted. He heals himself by 50% of the damage inflicted if the target is under a fear or a true fear debuff. After the first hit, he has a 75% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 3 turns. So I can imagine how good this guy will be in Clan Boss with all these hits. You gotta use Giant Slayer on him, man. It's gonna be a 3-turn cooldown on this ability, so his cooldowns are pretty low. I know his A1 is only a single hit, but his A2 and A3 are multi-hits, and they're, especially the 6 hits. Imagine proccing Giant Slayer 6 times with this ability, that's crazy. Hunter's Howl, he places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 3 turns, and then he attacks the enemy 3 times, as I said. It's a triple hit. And then he places fear on it, true fear, things like that. We're not going to go over all of those. 4-turn cooldown. Passive abilities will also makes him really good as well. Beast Mode, it's passive effect and an active effect. So his damage increases by 40% when his HP drops below 40%, which shouldn't happen often, but his active ability makes it that it happens often. Like if he dies, he gets revived with 20% HP, and then he immediately gets a turn, and then he's going to be dealing 40% more damage. So he basically tops off his health. So overall, his kit is very good. There's a one person that commented Halloween Champions video. He says that his model is like Saurus. So his skin is different, but his model is like Saurus. So we're gonna look at Saurus. Let's see. I think he might be moving the same way as well. So he does got the same stance. I think Saurus is shorter. Yeah, he's doing the same thing that Saurus does. Yeah, he's just taller than Saurus, and he has these. He has a different skin and the aura over here. Yeah, same movement pattern. I still think he looks pretty cool. So that is my tier list for the SkinWalkers faction. If you guys want me to do another faction, let me know down in the comment section which one you guys want me to do next. So the new champion has taken first place. So let me know if you guys agree with this list. And if you guys found this video helpful or entertaining in any way, make sure you guys drop a like. It helps me out a lot. And if you guys are new to the channel and you like what you see, and consider subscribing. I make Red Shadow Legends content almost every single day, as well as Dragon Champions. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and put a like.